Moody is eyeing grants for a trail project, and we'll tell you about a good way to commemorate 9/11. Tribune Unscripted starts now. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to Tribune Unscripted. I'm Brandon Dawkins with Tribune Digital Media, here with Scott Buttram, publisher of the Trustful Tribune. And we are going to start, unfortunately today, just talking about some national news. Gun violence seems like it's just at a really horrible place in this country, and we've seen it in a couple of places in recent weeks. We definitely saw it yesterday with the assassination of Charlie Kirk at an event in Utah.
Yeah, it is the main story in the national news right now, and in a terrible time, for the country to be dealing with stuff like this. Here we are today celebrating 9/11. We're going to be talking about that in just a minute.
Yep. We've had another school shooting in Colorado.
Another school shooting.
Just the one in Minnesota a couple of weeks ago was horrific. I mean, it's just one thing after another.
It is. I was telling you earlier, I was too young to remember the JFK assassination, but I do remember RFK and Martin Luther King, and just kind of the mood of the country when you're seeing elected leaders shot and killed, or people running for public office shot and killed. In Martin Luther King's case, he wasn't running for anything. He was a community leader with a message that was transformative for our country, and a message that some people didn't want to hear. I kind of feel like that's the situation we see society in today, assassination attempts, and then this deal with Charlie Kirk yesterday. And there's we didn't have social media in 1968.
I know. I was just sitting here thinking that.
I feel like that's just gasoline on the fire.
It is.
Social media gives us all a platform. That's not necessarily a good thing, because everybody doesn't necessarily need a platform.
No, it almost gives you too much interaction with people at different levels.
It does.
And so I think gasoline on the fire is definitely, but to use another expression, the stuffing's out of the pillow. It's not being put back in.
That's right.
And so, how do you move forward?
Well, one thing I would say to our audience is try your best to keep things in perspective, and by that I mean, as we said, social media gives a lot of people platforms that probably should not have platforms for their thoughts or their words. Try to treat social media more in a context of real life. And by that, when you see outrageous comments on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever platform you make, when you see these outrageous comments, this is not appropriate behavior for people. Stop and think about the people on both sides of the aisle. Because we all know, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, we all have friends that fall into other classes. You don't see any of them acting that way. You just don't see normal people in real life responding that way.
What you just said. The horrible thing about where we are is that it feels like gun violence is often tied to mental health problems. And to me, where is the solution there? It's not just somebody who got mad off us. It's a normal person, a stable person who got mad off of a comment from social media. It feels deeper than that in our mental health community.
It is deeper.
And that is what is the scariest.
It is. And again, that's an era I kind of grew up in. Growing up in Tuscaloosa, you had Bryce Hospital, which was for mentally ill people, and you had Partlow, which was for mentally ill people, State School and Hospital. Remember, the federal government disbanded all of that.
Yeah.
This was I think in the 70s when it really started, and by the 80s, all of these institutions, or many of these institutions, were gone. Mm-hmm. They were no longer available, and there was mistreatment of patients that led to some of this, but there was also probably a lot of great work being done. Mm-hmm. But I think society is now paying the price for that, because families who have family members with mental illness, there are very limited resources. There are very few places
you're right about
that they can turn to for help, and probably even fewer that can afford the help they really need. So we disassembled all that, and a lot of people didn't think it was a good idea at the time. I think we're paying the price for some of that now. I don't think you can reach a level of shooting someone because you disagree, and we don't know what happens yet, but I don't see how you reach the point of shooting one for any reason
I don't either.
without being a little mentally off.
Yeah.
But, our country's better than this. Our society is better than this. No matter which side of the aisle you're on, don't buy the stuff you're hearing about the other side of the aisle. Think about the people you know on the other side of the aisle, and they don't operate that way. They're not that type person. So don't be blinded by a bunch of anonymous comments on social media from people you don't know and will never meet.
Yeah, we're in a terrible place for sure.
It's not good.
And like you mentioned, this is tied in. It is September 11th, and there is a lot going on to commemorate that terrible day from 2001. Locally, though, there is a good way to invest in that. And so this evening at Ferris, and we have promoted this the last few years. In fact, Roy Williams came on the show last year to talk about it. But now every year at Ferris, they have the Take the Day Back 9/11 tribute concert that honors the life and legacy of U.S. Army Major Dwayne Williams, who was an Alabama native and who was at the Pentagon on 9/11.
He was killed in that attack. Roy came by yesterday, and I've shared this before. Roy's an old friend. He was a business editor at the Birmingham News when we first met. He lives he lives in close proximity to Trussville, so we hit it off quickly, and we've been friends for a very long time. This is his brother. He is honored at the Fallen Heroes on the War on Terror here in Trussville. We're trying to raise funds, or Roy's working to raise funds to have a bust of his brother at the memorial. So we hope we get closer to that. Some Trussville people, Rob Langford, one of them, has jumped in and supported him in this. And this is a great fundraiser. It's a great way to remember 9/11 here in Trussville this evening, as you mentioned, and do it for a good cause.
Right. It's free for everyone.
And for good people. These are good people.
Right. So donations are accepted. It's from 5:30 to 8:30 this evening. They're enjoying different genres of music this year. It also benefits the Dwayne Williams Memorial Scholarship at Jacksonville State University.
Yeah, and that's new.
So
that's new.
Yeah. Okay. Turning to what we talked about last week, we spent a lot of time talking about the AHSAA situation with the Choose Act, with the school choice bill here in Alabama. And I don't want to linger on this too long, but I did want to let you kind of update people on where that landed. As of last week, we had some athletes whose families had taken advantage of the right to move to a different school through the Choose Act legislation, but then they were penalized when it came to sports. And even though the legislation had specifically said that couldn't be done, the AHSAA did it anyway. And so where does that stand now? I know that the governor had to get involved. And
the governor and the Speaker of the House filed an injunction on Thursday. They were in court on Friday, filed an injunction late Thursday afternoon. We're in court on Friday. The judge granted the injunction to the governor and the Speaker. So that basically the judge said to AHSAA, put those kids back on the field. They're eligible immediately. There'll be a full hearing in about 2 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
Well, they'll get into it a little deeper on that. But I think the moral of the story is when the legislature passes a law that calls you by name, and the governor signs that bill into law that calls you by name and says, don't do this, you're probably wise not to do that, because, I mean, they were literally named in the bill. It said you can't do it. They did it anyway. There's always been this arrogance with AHSAA, kind of that. And listen, they win a lot of lawsuits like this because they're a separate entity, and they do have some autonomy to do what they want to do. But that doesn't overrule the state legislature. And evidently their attorneys thought maybe it did, but
well, in the legislature, I would think when they go into session in the spring or in winter, that they could tweak some things when it comes to the AHSAA.
To steal.
I would think this would make them
to steal a phrase from my wife, because she and I grew up in a whole different. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Oh, that's funny.
The AHSAA. I have no idea what the AHSAA will look like when the next legislative session ends. but I know you're not going to recognize it. It's not going to look like anything like it looks today.
Well, that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. Listen, there's a lot more behind the scenes on this. Again, Jacob Gurley, our new news reporter, senior news reporter here at the Tribune, is the one who broke the story. It has become a major statewide story. Good on Jacob for jumping on that, and we'll continue to follow it through. But this isn't going to end well for the AHSAA.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. All right, next up I wanted to mention, so this was, I think was this early this week or late last week?
Last week.
Thursday night, actually. So there was going to be in the city of Pinson a runoff for the District 5 seat with the incumbent and her opponent, but Glenda Kirkland decided to withdraw her name from the runoff. So now there is no runoff in Pinson. She served for a couple of terms, and so she just decided to, that she'd done enough and to let, I think it's Noel Holt,
I believe that's right,
take the seat. Yeah, Noel Holt. And so anyway, I thought that I didn't see that coming.
She wanted to save the city the cost of a runoff election, and she had trailed candidate Holt a little bit, following the general election. So decided after 2 terms, and I think her family helped her with that decision based on her comments. I think her family said, "We're done here. You've done enough. Let's just step aside and move on," which she has done. Glenda was here for the forums. I thought she did an excellent job.
I thought she did too. Ms. Holt didn't show up for the forums, right?
Right. And she did a good job. She has been a good city councilor. So I think that'll be a loss for Pinson, but I'll look forward to Ms. Holt doing a good job as well. So
well, we'll watch that and see what happens there. And then I did want to mention this in Moody too, because I thought this was interesting, because to me it sounds like it has the potential of being something like the Greenway, like we hear in Trussville. But Moody recently had a public hearing about going after a grant from ADECA, the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, to fund a new recreational trail system that would be along the Coosa watershed, along Haynes Drive. And so I think they're kind of eyeing it to have trails for hiking, bicycling. They mentioned archery, frisbee golf, bird watching stations. So that would definitely be a benefit for their community if they're able to get that. And it seemed like it was headed in a really positive direction.
Well, we don't have a mayor on today, but we're going through our I Elected Who series.
Right.
Where we're meeting all of the mayors.
It is not called that. Stop calling it that.
I like it. Okay, the Meet the Mayor series, if you want to be nice about it. But we should probably see if we can.
Yes, we have to get him on the schedule.
Get him in to talk about it.
We have Mayor-elect of Springville coming next week, Austin Phillips. Will be with us.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that.
Absolutely. So we'll watch this for Moody too, and see what happens there.
It's a good opportunity. And listen,
it really is.
You and I talk about it all the time. We're going to keep seeing good news about Moody.
Yes,
Moody's a growing community, and they're doing things really well out there.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to Mike Strength from Trussville Gas and Water about next month's State of the City chamber meeting, where you can hear from the outgoing mayor of Trussville and the incoming mayor of Trussville.
I'm anxious to just hear him comment on the oncoming drought. We just started it yesterday. I've been reading my almanac. Looks like we're going to be in trouble.
We can talk to him about that.
Yeah, he may not even know yet. We'll see what he says.
I promise he knows. All right, stay with us. We'll be back in a minute. Market and surrounding areas, we have had the privilege of seeing this city grow and change.
I've lived in Birmingham since 1975 and raised my family here. I love helping great families find their next home so they can grow and support our community.
My husband and I have been in Trussville since 2010, and I'm raising 2 kids who love making the Huskies proud.
We have loved exploring the thriving communities around Birmingham, like Trussville, Vestavia, Leeds, Homewood, and Hoover.
Whether you're relocating to Birmingham, looking to downsize, get more space for your growing family, or invest in property, we know the ins and outs of each neighborhood.
When it comes to selling, our experience means we know exactly how to market your home to get it seen by the right buyers. From professional staging to top-notch photography, we help make sure your property stands out and gets the attention that it deserves.
We've built relationships with top local contractors, lenders, and inspectors so we can connect you with the best in the business when you're ready to buy or sell.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, nobody can hijack an interview like you can. So Mike Strink, General Manager of Trestle Gas and Water, is with us today. I invited him here to talk about the chamber meeting next month, and we will talk about that.
But first, the drought.
But first, we're going to talk about the drought, and we're going because he's in charge of our water, I guess that is time.
Can we bring him in?
Yes, we'll bring in Mike. Mike, thanks
there
for being
is.
with us today and for entertaining our random pivot directions of our interview. But Scott's right. I did hear it on the news this morning that we have no rain forecast for the next couple of weeks. And then they did say it. They said the D word. They mentioned that we could have some drought conditions for sure.
I just hate them. I get paranoid about them. Mike hates,
you don't have a swimming pool.
Mike hates them because if we do get a drought, at some point he's got to call the Tribune and go tell them to quit using water. But don't tell him I said that.
Mike, are you watching the drought?
Yeah, so you're truly living up to the title of the show, Unscripted. Because we did not talk about this at all, so we get to go into it totally cold. So, yeah, we keep up with drought stuff all the time. The material we put together for our monthly meetings includes the drought monitor forecast. You can go Google drought monitor Alabama.
I'm gonna need to be copied in future months.
Yeah, I can send it to you. We pull it down. It's published every 2 weeks, and drought is not a black or white. You're either in drought or you're out of drought.
Right.
There's different grades that are used on this scale, and it's not droughts don't occur immediately because we missed rain for a week, and we don't come out of a drought because we get one heavy rainfall. It's a much more complicated calculation that looks at what's happening with groundwater, flows in rivers, things like that. So I don't like droughts. The droughts are the hardest part of my job, quite honestly. In the Southeast, we're blessed with a lot of water, and we have the approach that we all kind of think that is our God-given right as Americans to use as much water as we want and irrigate as much as we want. And I am very, very unpopular during drought. You have to tell people that it happens. Now, this concerns me a little bit less this time of year. October is our driest month of the year. If you look at our project on 11, it was started and it's being sequenced so that when we have to open up that building envelope, it's done during October. That's what we're shooting for. We're a little bit behind, but the idea is hit the driest period of the year. Okay. September is the second driest month of the year. So it's not uncommon for us to have very dry weather during September and October. It's to be expected if we don't have it. Droughts tend to be long-lasting events. We're not just talking about a period without rain. There was a study done, a decade ago in the Southeast that says droughts are actually usually last about 2 years. And there's a strong correlation with what's happening with El Nino and the change in the weather patterns. They're very long-term events. I really hope we don't head into a drought. If we do, we'll eventually get to the point exactly. I'll be back down here telling people to conserve water, and irrigation will be the main target. So, yeah, let's pray for rain and hope that happens. Let's just try to avoid Saturday so we don't deal with it on college football and deal with it that day.
When I did think that when they mentioned it, I was like, this is our driest time of year.
It is.
You know, so
it is. It's the right time of it to be that way. It's just when you see a couple of weeks in a row, Mike, with no chances at all or 10% on a couple of days, you know that doesn't look good. I've just got one quick question about the drought. And we've been through them before, and you've had to notify the paper before. We need people to back off water in yards and things like that. But I've noticed, Mike, we tend to be one of the, and I'm talking about communities around us in the metro Birmingham area, we tend to be one of the last communities to enact any kind of water restrictions. I've always wondered, is that because of where so much of our water is stored? It doesn't evaporate?
Well, first, I don't know if I'd have to go back and look at to see if that's correct. You may be that we tend to be later in doing that.
Yeah, we're usually one of the last communities to have to call something.
That may be true. What we have found is that asking people to reduce their watering or to go to an every other day just doesn't work. That's the traditional approach in the water industry. Is okay, we want you to, Brandon's going to water her lawn on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Scott, you can do yours on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. That's a disaster in Trussville. If we cut it back, we give you 2 days a week, whatever, people take the approach, I better go ahead and water my grass now because I can't do it tomorrow. I better put extra water on because I can't do it tomorrow.
Right.
So the
people who would never have watered their yards.
Yeah. Sprinklers go on sale. People are digging out hose pipes. It's a total disaster. So we don't do that. We're going to jump directly to what really changes people's behavior, which is
hit them in the pocketbook.
Exactly. we escalate the price, and that is where all the friction comes in. So people call in and like, oh, you're making so much money in the drought, you're price gouging. No, it's not true. The last couple of droughts we've had, we actually made less money because you have so many people who reduce their usage, and the ones who continue to try to go wild with it don't make up the volume. What we want to do is change the behavior of a reasonable person. And so a reasonable person is going to look at landscaping and say, I spent a lot of money on this landscaping, I can't let it die. And so they're willing to continue to water and pay a little bit more. We need to tilt that equation a little bit where somebody can say, you know, a new azalea bush doesn't cost that much. I'm not willing to spend $500 or more a month on water. Right. And that's what actually begins to change it. Now there's a phenomenon that goes on that helps us this time of year when it gets dry. Most people start out the spring, even if they don't consciously realize it, motivated. I want my yard to look great. Right. All the home centers and everybody are advertising and going planning. You put in your stuff.
By they're over it.
Yeah. And so then we get into the heat of the Alabama summer, and you're out there working and cutting grass and sweating. And by the time September and October roll around, it's forget it. I'm ready to go watch football. I do not want to be out in the heat anymore. Let it die.
Yeah.
So I asked one day this past week how much water we were putting out, even though it was dry. It really wasn't that much. It wasn't even close to anything. So as a community, we've already given up. We're letting our lawns go dormant a little bit early.
It's true.
Beautification awards have gone out.
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
No,
a lot of this is managing social expectations as much as it is managing a water system.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
I literally stood on my front porch drinking coffee this morning, Mike, thinking, how many more cuts do I have out there?
Yeah.
You know,
how many more times do I have to do
if I time it right, maybe 3 more times I could get away with that. But
I'm guilty of it too. I did not cut the grass this past weekend. I generally every week I'm out there.
That was my weekend.
The teenage son who was looking at it thinking, how many more times do I get $20 for cutting the grass before
I could tell you
stops growing?
I was that teenager who cut grass, and I've never grown out of it. In 50s, I'm still cutting the grass.
As somebody who's raised 2 kids 20 years apart, no. We're done here. It's not worth another teenager. And I love my teenagers, but I'm glad Scott, one of them's not a teenager and one won't be one much longer.
I get it.
You got any other random topics you want to throw in here?
Yeah, really. Well, then let's talk about what you're here to talk about. Let's talk about this luncheon next month. So each year, just to give people some background, Trussville Gas and Water sponsors the Chamber Luncheon in October for the special annual State of the City address. This is kind of a special edition. It says in the printed story, special edition.
Okay.
Because outgoing Mayor Buddy Choate will reflect on 8 years, and then incoming Mayor-elect Ben Short will speak about what's coming up. It's a fun event for people to go to. You guys pay the whole bill. So all you have to do is reserve a spot and go get your lunch provided by Trussville Gas and Water. And so what do people have to look forward to with this? Oh, and Mike Strength does a little chit chat that's usually pretty fun.
The Mike monologue.
Yes.
Yeah, so the event is always a lot of fun. It's informative. The mayor, whoever that might be, updates on what's happened in the city, what they see coming in the following year. This one's a little bit different because we've got an outgoing mayor and an incoming mayor. Buddy Choate was gracious as always and had said he did not want to take the incoming mayor's spot. And he said this before the election, whatever, even as recently as an event at the schools at the beginning of that. We thought that would be the last thing where we would both be at the same event. And so I managed to talk him into coming on up there, and so he's going to kind of wrap up something and then hand it over and let Mayor-elect Short talk about what he wants to do. We do pay for the lunch. The history of this event, there's a little more to it than most people know. So many years ago, the Utilities Board would sponsor a lunch each month, like a lot of companies do with the Chamber. And we would cook for that. Our employees would actually cook the food. It was usually barbecue. We had some really good cooks. And it was possibly the biggest event. The only one that was close to it was whenever the mayor did the State of the City event. With sponsoring it and doing all that, the general manager for the Utilities Board spoke. And as I've shared on this program before, if we do our job correctly, what we do is incredibly boring. Nobody really wants to listen to an update that goes for 20, 30 minutes about utilities. And I was aware of that. I had written the presentations before. So a couple of events happened. One, I'm an accountant. I started looking at how much it cost us in labor and overhead to go cook the meal. And it was way more.
Wasn't there a fish fry one year? Did I dream
We did
that?
fish fry. We did barbecue.
Yeah.
We did a little bit
And
of
it was at your
everything.
facility.
It's cheaper for y'all to cater it? Seriously?
Yeah, because
That's
but you start
hilarious.
taking somebody who's a supervisor in a utility, and now you've made them a prep cook.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of engineers
it doesn't work out.
Hey, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was good.
It was
good.
a neat thing
Oh, and
to go into that
the
big
boys
building.
probably loved
It was a fun event. We had it there. We had it at Veterans Park even before the Greenway was started. It goes way back. But it was expensive, so we switched and said, okay, we're going to start having it catered. In 2013, I became the general manager and really didn't want to walk into something that was horribly boring, having to talk about utilities for the whole time, knowing people show up just for their free lunch. So I'm competitive. I like winning. My daughter has commented that my brother and I could make Legos competitive if we wanted to.
Well, and that's a real thing, by the way. There's a show all about it.
Yeah, I didn't know that until recently. So I kind of stacked the deck. I said, well, the biggest draw for the speaker is whenever the mayor speaks. And if we do free lunch, so I pretty much assured that the State of the City, sponsored by Trustful Gas and Water, would be the biggest event by combining the two of them.
I like it.
And by having the mayor come speak, it got me out of having to do the presentation. So everything worked out great. It's a big event. It's limited to, I think we've got it right at 300. We might be able to stretch it just a little bit, but it's just the limitation is how big the large room at the Civic Center is and being able to get people to the line. So yeah, if people want to attend, they need to contact the chamber and do that sooner rather than later. Certainly don't wait until the last week before it. There will not be any slots.
Mike, this whole thing makes me think of work smarter, not harder. That's what it makes me think. This just shows you're really good at delegating.
Shows I got out of having to do the presentation this year. Yeah.
And you will not forget, if you're watching this, worried about it, because in keeping with tradition, I will remind you every single Thursday that Mike Strength is buying your lunch. Call and get it. It's free.
So make sure you get it. Okay. Well, no, in all seriousness, I think that sounds like a great event. It's always a great event. But I think that's great for people to be able to hear from Mayor Choate and Mayor-elect Short.
I agree. I'm sorry to interrupt. We probably should go back to 9 years and kind of explain why the new mayor did the transitional one. Because the last election, when we had a transition in Mayor Mike, was 9 years ago, and it was a little different. It was a different dynamic. We had a longtime mayor running for re-election, who did not make the runoff.
Yeah.
So it could have been a little bit more awkward, a little more uncomfortable than this will.
Time,
yeah.
where Buddy didn't run.
Yeah, it's a little different. So 9 years ago, I'd asked Gene, I said, do you want to come speak? You're still going to be the mayor.
Right.
He said, no, let whoever wins the runoff do that. Well, the runoff was, I think, early October that year. They've rolled it back some. So I actually had both candidates reserve that spot and be ready to go. And depending on who won, that was who was speaking.
It was very bang bang.
Yeah, it was real quick to come up after the election, and that worked out well. So I think Buddy was trying to follow protocol on that a little bit and just step back, and I think this is going to work. Ben Short will get his time to share his vision. Buddy can wrap up with whatever comments he wants to wrap up with. And I think it'll be a great event. Encourage everybody to come on out.
So one thing I've enjoyed about it a lot, especially since Buddy's been in, is that he really has used it every year to
Make
put
a big
something
statement.
pretty big out there. And so it's been great news coverage because we're like, yeah, what's coming? Because it's been some kind of interesting project.
Well, I think Buddy had that mindset. He knew it was a big opportunity and most of the community would be paying attention. So, yeah, he would save projects to announce at that. And I thought he did a really good job year after year.
He used it wisely. So.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great thing. Mike, we'll try to live stream it. We haven't really talked about that around here, assuming the chamber wants us to. We normally live stream that event. I'm telling you guys that now. Y'all are hearing it for the first time. I always thought it was very gracious when Mayor Melton offered to let Buddy do that one after the election.
Yes, it was.
It seemed appropriate, and it was a good decision at the time on Mayor Melton's part. And I like that Buddy's making the intro and doing it because this is a little different dynamic here. Plus, after 9 years of Buddy doing it, he can't possibly have much to say to this, right?
Well, he spent 30 plus years in sales, so I don't think he'll be without.
You're right. He'll come up with something.
Yeah, he'll come up with something.
He does a good job.
He does. It's always been great. Sure. And I enjoy your monologue as long as I'm not the punchline through half of it, as I have been on occasion.
Again. Well, we'll see.
Figure after election season, there's plenty of jokes to make about either one of us. So,
but you got a long way to go to top Alan Taylor's. The night at the chamber event when he said his mother called. He said, Mom, I got to go MC this event for the chamber. And she said, why do you do that? And Alan said, well, Mom, they love me in Trustful, and they want me to do these things, and they're always asking. And she said, have you read the Tribune? They don't love you in Trustful. That's going to be the line to beat. That's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, I hope I don't reach that level of notoriety in the Tribune.
That's funny. That's funny. I had forgotten that story. That's funny. Okay. Well, Mike, thanks. I asked you to do this at the last second today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up a few other things before we get away for the day. Stay with us.
Hey, y'all, it's Dobbs Ford.
Your hometown dealership.
We're bringing you family-type atmosphere with the best customer service and the best buying experience around.
So visit us online at holdoutsfordbirmingham.com or make that fast drive to 9924 Parkway East. Come see and feel the difference.
If you don't have a will, trust, or some kind of estate plan, you're leaving your loved ones with a lot of headaches. Probate fees and tax issues bring stress to your family while they grieve your loss. Cahaba Law Group is here to protect them and give you reassurance that your hard-earned money and assets are not lost to bureaucratic mayhem. They can help you create the ideal estate plan. If you're currently in probate, Cahaba Law Group can help assist you there too. Plus, they can handle more than just probate. They can serve you in just about any legal matter. Begin now by scheduling a consultation at cahabalaw.net.
I'm Drew Lawley, General Manager at Courtesy Buick GMC. Come see us at Courtesy, where we have over 300 vehicles to choose from, including GMCs, Buicks, and certified pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at Courtesy or check us out at courtesybirmingham.com. Proud supporter of our area high school teams.
welcome back, everybody. All right, let's get to the other news of the day. One of the things we wanted to mention is the Trustful Witches Ride, and you said we'll probably have those ladies here to talk about that event. Huge event for Trustful coming up on October 25th, but you did say that they are still looking for business sponsors.
They are looking for sponsors. I have not reached out to Carly and Shawnee yet, but I'm going to as soon as we get through, see if we can get them on next Thursday to talk about it. Everybody knows about the Witches Ride in Trustful. Great event, big event, wildly popular event that appears to be getting, if possible, more popular every year. But that event, one of the things that really drives that event are the business sponsors that jump in and help them reach their goal. So they're still looking for business sponsors. If you have interest, we've got a story on TrustfulTribune.com right now. You can also go to the Trustful Witches Ride Facebook page and reach out. Again, looking for business sponsors. Great exposure for your business. Good way to get your name out there for a good cause.
We had mentioned it already on the show a few weeks ago, but I'm going to mention it again. So each year, the ride benefits a different family with a different need. This year, it benefits 3-year-old Olivia Albright. I guess, is it Albright?
I think so.
Or Albright, who is post-heart transplant, but still has many needs and medical expenses and challenges for the family. And so the theme this year, every year there's a theme so your witch costume can kind of go with the theme if you want it to. It's magic spells and seashells, which is super cute. But I had just noticed, looking through the story today, that for the first time, children can register to ride.
Yeah.
And so
three and up.
3 and up. I did not realize that. So there's different prices for different ages. So I have a little girl that has begged to participate, and so that caught my eye. So
be a good
3
chance
and up
to do it now.
Can participate. So
yeah,
we have band competition that day.
I've got to admit, I read it and thought, I don't know what y'all are thinking.
I think that's so fun.
But it'll be a blast for the kids. Yes. They'll love it.
Yes.
And again,
might be a one-time thing, but
no. Sure, and that's okay too.
It is.
We've talked to some of these families after the fact. This is a life-changing event for these families.
Yes.
I mean, to be able to go do something, you're just going to have a great time for a few hours with your kids, if you'd like to. But to be able to go do that and walk away knowing, I just helped change somebody's life. Mm-hmm. Literally help change a family's life.
It really makes a huge difference.
It's a huge thing. I'm so proud of it.
I know that the board invests a lot in the selection process.
They do.
And so,
they take it very seriously, and you have to apply to be considered, but they do a great job, and they've picked just some of the best people. And some have been adults, some have been children.
Yeah.
They've really tried to meet the needs wherever they are.
Needs, for sure. So, all right. So I did want to mention that. The other one is really fun. I missed this Sunday night, but Miss America was Sunday night, and Miss Alabama, who is from Leeds, we've talked about that a couple of times, finished in the top 5. She was the 4th runner-up.
And we're replacing a Miss Alabama, Miss America,
yes,
which is kind of cool. But yeah, first to have Alabama in the top 5 after winning it last year is a good thing. But Leeds, I love that. Is it Emma Terry? Is that her name, Emma?
Yes, Emma Terry. And
beautiful girl.
Yes, she received a $10,000 scholarship for her 4th runner-up finish, but also a $5,000 Quality of Life Award for her commitment to service and community impact. So just a really successful competition for Miss Alabama, who is also from Leeds.
And we need to get her up here. If we had
her, she's back.
We should definitely get her up here.
So I think we can do that. So I wanted to mention that. And then last, just because so many people have talked about it, but we haven't mentioned it on the show yet. So many people in the community of Trustful know the Dyberts. Both Mr. and Miss Dybert are teachers.
Yep.
So they're well known, and they have
popular teachers.
Popular teachers. They teach Spanish, one at the middle school, one at the high school.
Right.
But Mike Dybert, who teaches Spanish at the middle school, again, for the second time, won the competition for Forged in Fire. I think does that come on the National Geographic, the History Channel? History Channel competition. And what's so interesting is that they just announced it, but the show was filmed 3 years ago. So they've had to keep it a secret.
Right, all this time. I don't know how you do that.
And so, but now it's come out that he won again because in his spare time he does have like a blacksmith business, and that's the second time that he's won that award. So that's really neat. He makes custom knives and ironwork, and offers blacksmith
And
classes.
it seems like we might have had someone else local that's done well in that competition.
Really
Or I might
neat.
be dreaming that, but I think besides Michael, we've had someone else in the broader area.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a cool show. Not my type of thing, because there's a lot of work just to get ready to do the work.
Yeah, the show is cool. I've
Yeah.
seen it, and so. But anyway, that's a really neat thing.
But
And again,
guys
the
are
second
into
time
it.
that
We
he's
like
won
watching
it.
people make
Yeah.
blades.
Yeah, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention that. And then last but not least, we talked about it last week,
Yeah.
but the Reader's Choice, the Trustful Tribune's Reader's Choice Award nominations are open. So that is on the website. You're going to update that story too with another.
Yeah,
link
we're
for the
going to do another little
nominate your favorite small
Right.
business, and lots of fun categories that you can go in and nominate for.
There is nothing that takes place in the 9 cities that gives businesses this much exposure,
Yeah.
small businesses this kind of exposure. We love it for that reason. We love it because you guys get really excited about it. Our readers go nuts on this every year. And I think it's just they really get a kick out of bragging about businesses where they've gotten good service or good product.
Mm-hmm.
They're local, they're their neighbors, and they do a good job. And I think our readers really appreciate the opportunity to recognize these people. And
Yes,
we've
they
got
do.
such great businesses throughout our 9 cities. I will tell you, I'm very sorry. I'm the one who put the story up. I did not know the link didn't work. I think his first 24, 48 hours, people weren't able to get through. That was all corrected, and it's working fine now, and we're getting already a flood of votes, to put it nicely.
Okay, good. So we want to keep that up. At some point, we'll narrow them down to finalists, but we'll keep you updated on that because we'll talk about
Yeah, it's got the whole scheduling in there, and we might do the announcement a little separately, a little differently this year than we've done in the past. I haven't shared that with Brandon yet. We'll do that off the air.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. Well, that's all we have for today. We hope you have a wonderful, safe, and it's going to be a dry weekend, but we'll be back here next week.
Craving a cold craft brew and some top-notch entertainment? Join us at Ferris Artisan Ales and Eatery in the heart of the Trustful Entertainment District. We're your go-to spot for free live music, great food, drinks, and the biggest screen in town for enjoying live sports. Grab a seat, enjoy a refreshing Coca-Cola, and cheer on your favorite team with friends. If you don't have a will, trust, or some kind of estate plan, you're leaving your loved ones with a lot of headaches. Probate fees and tax issues bring stress to your family while they grieve your loss. Cahaba Law Group is here to protect them and give you reassurance that your hard-earned money and assets are not lost to bureaucratic mayhem. They can help you create the ideal estate plan. If you're currently in probate, Cahaba Law Group can help assist you there too. Plus, they can handle more than just probate. They can serve you in just about any legal matter. Begin now by scheduling a consultation at cahabalaw.net.
I'm Drew Lawley, General Manager at Courtesy Buick GMC. Come see us at Courtesy, where we have over 300 vehicles to choose from, including GMCs, Buicks, and certified pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at Courtesy or check us out at courtesybirmingham.com. Proud supporter of our area high school teams.